Welcome back, Raider Nation and my champions. This is Eric, and in this video, we're going to be previewing the Thanksgiving matchup against the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm going to be giving you my 4 keys to this game, so let's get right to it.
The other team's quarterback must go down, and he must go down hard.
As usual, when we do our game previews, the first thing we want to take a look at is the injury reports. Now, unfortunately, during the timing of the taping here in this short week, I'm not going to be able to get the final injury report and get this video out on time, but this is as of the end of the day on Tuesday, and there's some significant injuries, and most of those are on the Dallas side, and we'll get to those in a minute. I want to talk about our team first. Nick Kwiatkowski and Keyshawn Nixon looking like they're not going to play again, suffering ankle injuries, and they missed last week as well. Good news, Brandon Faison, he was questionable last week with the hamstring. He played pretty well, and he had full practice to Tuesday at the time of this taping. So I'm fully confident he's going to be playing as well. There's also some talk that Trayvon Mullen might be available, though I'm not so sure being on a short week, but you never know. He wasn't on the official injury report, and he hasn't, as of now, he hasn't been taken off the IR list. So I would say that's pretty doubtful, especially given the short week. The other one I want to talk about is John Simpson. He had an oblique strain during the Cincinnati game. He had limited practice today. I'm pretty optimistic he's going to be starting for us on Thursday. Now, as far as the Cowboys go, there's some significant injuries and some stories kind of playing out, especially today. And the first one I want to talk about is Zeke Elliott. He had a knee injury during the Chiefs game. His leg got kind of rolled up on him, and he didn't do a whole lot in that game. And Tony Pollard can come in. He's a capable backup, and I think that's probably what's going to happen this week. I think Elliott's probably going to be on a pitch count, and they're going to be splitting up carries with Tony Pollard. But honestly, I think it doesn't really matter because our run defense has not looked very good all season. They're probably going to err on the side of caution with him. The other one to talk about is Noah Brown is penciled in right now as the starting wide receiver opposite Michael Gallup. Now, Gallup, of course, will be in there for Amari Cooper, who will be out on COVID protocol. That's a done deal. But the other one is CeeDee Lamb suffered a concussion during the Chiefs game last week. But there's reports that he's, quote, feeling good. Now, I don't know exactly what that means in relation to protocol. Generally, they have to go, what I've heard is they have to go through like 5-day process and feel good. We're on a short week. I don't know if this is just smoke. I don't think CeeDee Lamb's going to play, but there is still a chance he might. I'm wondering what the league would think of that, especially on a short week, but we'll ultimately know on Thursday and game day. And the other one I want to talk about is Tyron Smith. Missed a few games with a bone spur in his ankle, their left tackle here. Parents still filled in for him last week. He was scheduled to start against the Chiefs last week, and they pulled him in the last minute. And the reasoning that I heard was that they didn't want to start him 2 games in 4 days. Now, well, then why not start him in the Chiefs game and not in the Raider game, because the Chiefs are a better team? I don't necessarily believe that story, but I do think he'll probably play. A couple things though. One, he's still coming off that injury. He's probably not 100%. And that gets to my first key to this game on defense for us, and that's this front four, and for a number of reasons. I'm going to get to this right now, though. With Yannick, he is one of the quickest edge rushers in the league, and with a bad ankle or not 100% ankle, how long is this guy going to even be playing? I don't see him playing a full game. Even if he does play and start, still will probably be in there for him at some point in this game. And either way, I think Yannick can feast either on an injured Tyron Smith or a fully healthy Terrence Steele, to be honest with you. Then I want to get to all 4 of these guys are involved. This is the biggest part of this defense right now, given the matchup we have. And again, we have to stop this run. They're 5th against the run. And we have to do the same thing we did against Cincinnati, at least in that first half. Hopefully the offense doesn't leave the defense on the field the whole game like last week. They did a pretty good job with Joe Mixon until late 3rd quarter, 4th quarter, when they basically ran out of gas. It's understandable. But we have to have a similar performance. Now, Hankins is going to be facing Zach Martin, one of the best guards in the league. I think last week was more of a cream puff kind of interior offensive line he had to go up against, but he's really going to have to come out with his A game against this line, this interior line. This is above average line across the board. And I'm going to say this about Max Crosby. He has 5 sacks, but he hasn't had a sack in 5 games. It's time for him to start feasting here. I know Lyle Collins is a pretty good tackle, But if you're elite, you gotta win these battles and get to Dak Prescott. I'm saying this even though they don't have their top 2 wide receivers. If you leave anybody in the pocket unscathed, they're going to kill you with the other targets. Now, that gets to my other key to this game. We're probably going to have some issues with the running game, even with Zeke Elliott not fully healthy. Pollard's going to be coming in and can do pretty well also. But my issue is right here. And this is Dalton Schultz. Now, if you don't know him, he's an above average tight end. He's no slouch. I'm not saying he's a George Kittle, a Darren Waller, or Travis Kelce. But I would probably put him in around maybe the 10th best tight end in the league. The top 2 weapons on the outside aren't going to be there. Our DBs I think they're going to do pretty well against their backup wide receivers. I'm not having a huge issue with that. My issue is with the tight end. We are terrible against the tight end. We are the 3rd worst in yardage against the tight end. We're also in the top 5 worst as far as targets, receptions, and touchdown per game average. I don't trust KJ Wright. I don't trust Jonathan Abram in coverage at all. I would like to see 3rd down and long nickel packages, maybe Nate Hobbs on him, and if we're not careful, he could this up.
And I hear everyone say, take what they give you. We're going to take what we want.
As far as the offensive side of the ball, it's pretty easy where the first key to the game is going to be, and that's number 4, obviously. He's had some rough times these last 3 weeks. I'm not a Carr hater, but I'm not a Carr lover either. I'm going to cheer for him and give him recognition when he does well, like I did after the Denver and the Philly games, where I said he was in the MVP conversation. That's not happening any longer with these 3 eggs that were laid. Now, of course, it's not just him, it's the play calling. Of course, we suffered a little bit from the Henry Ruggs ordeal and not having him on the field and the off the field psychologically. I understand that. But ultimately, Carr has the ability to play and play well. We've seen it before. It's the mental, it's the psychological side. Can he get over this, number 1? And number 2, can he be the leader this team needs? That's the ultimate questions, not only in this game, not only for the rest of the season, but his tenure here with the Raiders. He has to show it now, or we're going to be looking for a new head coach. And I'm sure if he doesn't show this, he's not going to be with this team in 2022. It's just the bottom line. So he needs to turn this around. I know he can do it. I know he is capable. He still has Renfrow and Waller as far as weapons go. He can still run the ball. He still has Kenyon Drake. We just need to utilize them a little bit better. And even if we don't fully utilize Zay and Deshaun, at least throw it deep, keep them off balance, keep these guys honest. Now, my other key to this game, as far as this Cowboys defense goes, it looks a lot similar to the Cincinnati. They're a little bit better, I would say, but they're a little bit better against the run than they are against the pass. I could go with Trayvon Diggs here. He started on fire. He had 7 interceptions in 6 games, but he's cooled down. He's only had 1 pick in the last 4 games. Plus, he's probably likely going up against Bryan Edwards. I don't see Edwards getting a whole lot unless they switch him on Waller. If Waller starts burning them, then that would be an interesting matchup. But the one player that scares me on this Cowboys defense right now is this guy right here. It's Micah Parsons, rookie from Penn State, linebacker. He's filled in admirably with the loss of DeMarcus Lawrence and Randy Gregory to injury. We talked about Max Crosby having 5 sacks. Well, this guy has 5.5 sacks in the last 3 games. He is outstanding, and he's giving me nightmarish visions of Drew Tranquill during the Charger game, where they would be blitzing the safety. It's going to be the same thing. Our offensive line is going to have to pick this guy up, or Carr's going to be on his back, and then he's going to be out of it mentally, and it's just, the whole offense is going to fold up. Derek Carr's got to get it right. He's got to read it right. He's got to read the blitzes when they're there and when they're not panic. And this offensive line needs to cover Micah Parsons and not let him get free reign into our backfield. Now, one other thing I wanted to talk about here, and I saw this in one of my Facebook groups. It's this thing right here. I don't know if you've seen this before. Supposedly somebody on Reddit put our season schedule out and flipped a coin. And so far it's been right all the way down the line so far. Now, it was posted 11/14, so at best, you could say, well, they got the bingo game right. I put it in here. It shows that we're going to beat the Cowboys here. Again, at this point, I feel we'll take everything we can get. Any kind of edge, any kind of luck at this point. This team is reeling. And I would rather depend on a sheet of paper than a fucking index card like last time.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.